happy. I'm happy to be here today with my friend, comedy stage hypnotist, the laugh specialist, Denise Oatley Hall, and you're going to be doing the hypnosis show at the Mid America Hypnosis Conference in Chicago this
I
October.
am.
Yeah,
So
and,
excited.
yeah, we're very excited that you're coming. So, so tell us a little bit about your show, your type of show.
My type of show is one that makes you laugh. I have a background in comedy, and I was a professional clown for 25 years, and so I bring that expertise in theater to the stage, and my show is a clean comedy show, but like we all like to say, hilarious, and it really is. It is very funny, it is energetic, and everybody goes away feeling great. Audience, the stars on stage, and me too.
Well, I think you're going to have a blast because the people who are at the Chicago conference are really fun people.
Oh.
They're great Midwesterners. They're just great people, and I know they're going to enjoy your show. So what can I ask you about the show? Like, for instance, you made it a point to say it was a clean show. What?
Yeah.
Why? That was you made sure that you specified that it was a clean show. What's the advantage in clean shows?
Well, for me, comedy does not have to be disrespectful to be funny. And I am committed to hypnosis, everybody in the room going away having had an excellent time with hypnosis and having a new respect for the art of hypnosis. And I think that when you do something that's outside of G-rated, you take the chance of disrespecting people. That's not what I'm about. I'm very playful and respectful, and we have a lot of fun.
So there's a rumor that sometimes when you're doing hypnosis shows at hypnosis conferences, that people don't want to get up on stage.
Well,
what do you think about that?
I think that's baloney. If anybody knows how good it feels to be hypnotized, it's hypnotists. And hypnotists are generally playful people, and so why wouldn't they want to come up on stage? And frankly, I don't have people that don't want to come up on stage with me because I feel like I'm engaging and I'm playful and fun, and they trust me, and so they come up.
Excellent.
Yeah.
I'm sure they will.
They will now.
That's right. Better come up. So you gave me some great advice years ago. I told you that...
Yes, grasshopper.
I told you that that I had a show, and it was late at night, as many hypnosis shows are, and my volunteers were all very sluggish. They acted like zombies, and I said, it went okay, but I just couldn't get them animated, and you gave me some great advice for how to do that. Would you share this with
What was that? No, I'm just kidding. Yes, well, I'm a big believer in asking for what you want. And so a lot of times people don't know what you're looking for, but if you give them something to imitate, then that works. So I tell people that they're going to perform like the finest, best comedy actors of our time. And I give them some names that they'll, depending on the age of the crowd, an older crowd would be Steve Martin or Lucy or something like that. A younger crowd would have different comedians. So that they know what's expected. And they take that on. They're like, oh, so not only does it give them an example, it also tells them what you want in a very fun way.
I love that advice. It's worked great for me, and I've used it both. I've used it a couple of different ways. Sometimes what I'll do is as soon as I bring the committee up and they're sitting in the chair, I will tell the audience exactly what you said. Sometimes people think that people who are hypnotized act like zombies. In fact, it's the opposite. They're very animated. They can be like, and then mention a couple of physical comedians, and that kind of sets the stage for for their performance, and they do perform. Sometimes I'll do it when they're in trance. Which do you prefer to do that? Give that advice in trance or before?
I do it 3 times.
Oh, okay.
It's actually in my introduction.
Interesting.
When somebody's introducing me, I tell the audience they're going to perform brilliantly, like the finest comedy actors. And then I will, when I'm cueing the audience as they're getting ready to be hypnotized, I will say it again in some form, not necessarily the same language. And then once I have them in trance, I will remind them that they're these actors, they're the finest actors, that the deeper they become, the more playful and animated and interested they become, and they do.
That is great. Any stage hypnotist watching that is excellent advice.
It works.
But, it reminds me of a story that Colonel Ellman, our friend Colonel Ellman, told me about Dave Ellman and about the difference in the way people act in hypnosis. Like, for instance, there was this discussion of how way back when, during the 1940s and 1950s, it was quite common for people to come out of hypnosis after a hypnosis show, and it was quite common for them to come out with complete amnesia, and that doesn't happen so often in modern hypnosis shows. So why is that? And according to Ellman, there was this expectation that that was what was going to happen to you. And because you had that expectation that you were going to come out of hypnosis not remembering anything about what happened in the show, it happened very often.
Yeah.
However, if I make it a point to tell people when I'm doing clinical hypnosis, when they ask, will I remember, I will say, yes, I'm going to actually encourage you to remember everything when you come out of trance, because in my mind, if somebody comes to you for hypnotherapy and they end the session and they don't remember anything about it and it's their first time ever being hypnotized, that can be
That's a
creepy.
problem.
Yeah, that's a problem. So I encourage them not to have amnesia, and so my clients don't have amnesia. But in Ellman's time, that was the expectation of what was going to happen to you in the show, and so very many, a large percentage of the people in the show did have amnesia. But that just sort of illustrates the point of, you tell them how they're probably going to react to hypnosis, and by golly, they do. That's really good.
And you bring up a really good point. I think that managing expectations in your show is really helpful, period. You want to manage the expectations of the stars on stage, or the committee, as you like to call it, and you want to manage the expectation of the audience, and you also want to draw the audience in as your teammates, as your fellow performers in the show, in creating the show. Because everybody's creating the experience, and that works for me. That works for me.
It's great, though, because no two shows are the same, right?
It's true.
You could even do the same skits, which I know you don't, but you could do the same skits every time, and you would always have a different show. Just
because you have different people, and they visualize things differently. And I think that's part of the joy of doing comedy hypnosis, is that you don't always know what people are going to do. Can I give you an example?
Sure.
I've been doing this 15 years now, and I had a girl doing the belly button routine, and I've never had anybody say this to me before. I came down and she's there, and she's like, something's wrong, look on her face. I said, what's going on here? And I put the microphone to her mouth, and she says, I don't think I've been born. I just lost it. And then she was sitting there going, by her belly.
Oh, no, that's funny.
So, you never know what they're going to say or do. And that's what makes it fun. For me.
You remember the first time you hypnotized me? You tried to take my belly button? Do you remember that?
Yeah, you didn't want any of that.
No, I didn't want any of that. But then, hey, wait a minute. What?
But we gave you one that you were willing.
Yes.
Do you remember that?
No, I don't.
Okay. Yes, you do. The Easter Bunny.
Oh, the Easter Bunny. Oh, okay. The Easter Bunny.
You're going to edit this out, aren't you?
Yes, certainly am. We're not going to revisit that trauma.